The sky over Aspen Pines was dark as black velvet delicate snowflakes swirling under the neon lights of the lodge. The black gloss Bentley Bentayga glided to a smooth stop in front of the granite steps, the rear door popping open. Ava Harper stepped out, her 12-centimeter Louboutin heels clicking sharply against the ground in the negative 10 degrees Celsius air. Her black Valentino gala dress hugged her curves, the deep V-neck showcasing her perfect collarbones, a snow-white fox fur cape draped to her ankles, its trim sparkling like a dusting of diamonds. Her hair was pinned in a classic French twist, a few loose curls framing her face, the handiwork of a stylist flown in from Manhattan by helicopter that morning. Ethan Cole, her husband, stepped out next. His custom Tom Ford tuxedo fit like a glove, his Hermes tie knotted in a perfect Windsor. The 5-year-old cardiac surgeon, Harvard grad and current chief of thoracic surgery at Mount Sinai, guided his wife through the thin layer of snow, his hand resting lightly on her lower back like a quiet reminder. "We belong here." Finn, their 7-year-old son, hopped out last. His miniature Armani suit and navy silk tie were slightly askew, and he clutched his iPad Pro like a treasure, AirPods Max peeking out from under his tousled blonde hair. "Mom, it's snowing. Can I make a snowman?" Finn squealed, his breath forming white clouds in front of him. "After the party, sweetheart. Act like a gentleman for now, okay?" Ava smiled, bending down to straighten his tie. Her smile was sharp, confident, but her eyes held a faint, almost imperceptible chill. They stepped into the main lobby. The crystal glass doors slid open automatically, and a wave of warmth from the massive fireplace enveloped them like a hug. The scent of burning pine, cinnamon, and rich red wine filled the air. A 20-foot Christmas tree stood in the center of the lobby, adorned with thousands of twinkling LED lights and topped with an $80,000 Swarovski star. A 12-piece live orchestra in white tuxedos played Winter Wonderland violins, leading cellos warm and deep. Everywhere guests, doctors, lawyers, CEOs, all wore 18 Kelvin's gold VIP badges. Ava took a deep breath. That scent. It hurt like a memory. 11 years ago, she'd stood here too, but in a $200 rented dress, hands trembling as she carried a tray of drinks. Not anymore. Now she was an honored guest, personally invited by the groom Ryan Brooks 3 weeks ago. Ethan gently squeezed her hand. "Ready, Mrs. Cole?" "Always," she replied, her Boston accent crisp. They moved into the main reception area. Baccarat chandeliers hung suspended, hundreds of crystals casting rainbows of light. Laughter and conversation buzzed. Then, like a slow-motion movie scene, Ava saw the bride. Chloe Harper stood in the center of the crowd, her white Vera Wang mermaid wedding dress pristine, a thin veil draped over her shoulders. A Tiffany tiara gleamed on her head, a 7-carat diamond necklace at her throat. She was laughing, that perfect laugh Ava had practiced for hours in front of a mirror to mimic. Chloe tilted her head, her golden hair shimmering under the lights, saying something to a group of doctors. That tilt 15 degrees, lips curved 2/3. Ava recognized it instantly. 11 years, but her body still remembered. Time seemed to freeze. The music faded. The laughter dissolved. Only the thumping of Ava's heart remained. Crash. The sound of glass shattering echoed. Linda Harper, Ava and Chloe's mother, dropped her champagne flute, the crystal shattering on the marble floor. Red wine spread like blood. Linda stood frozen, mouth agape, eyes wide. Her face was ghostly pale, her red lipstick stark against it. Ava." Her voice broke as if she'd seen a ghost. Dr. Richard Harper, father to both sisters, stepped forward immediately. His custom Savile Row gray suit gleamed, his Harper family practice, 35 years of service badge shining on his chest. He raised his arms, shielding Chloe like a bodyguard, his broad shoulders and jutting chin a familiar pose from when Ava was a 6-year-old forced to wash dishes in the family clinic. "What are you doing here?" His voice was low but loud enough for the 20 people nearby to hear. Chloe turned. The bride's smile froze. Her eyes widened, pupils dilating. "Ava," she stepped back, her heel catching in the veil, nearly tripping. Ryan Brooks, the groom, a neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins, caught his wife. He looked at Ava, then Chloe, then Ava again. "You know her?" Ava didn't answer right away. She stood there in the snowy lobby, her white fur cape dripping melted snow onto the floor. Finn huddled behind his mother, eyes wide. Ethan placed a hand on his son's shoulder, his gaze sharp as a scalpel. "Hello, Mom." "Hello, Dad," Ava said, her voice soft but carrying through the lobby. "Hello, Chloe. Long time no see." The violin stopped mid-note. The entire lobby fell silent. Only the crackling fireplace and the snow falling outside the glass doors remained. Linda Harper trembled, clutching her chest. You were dead. We had a funeral. Fake funeral, Ava cut in, her voice cold as ice. 11 years ago you told me never come back. I just followed instructions. Richard clenched his fists. Get out. Now. Today is Chloe's wedding. Ethan stepped forward, his Boston accent polished, but cutting. My wife is Ava Harper, Cole's CEO of NovaHealth. We were personally invited by Dr. Ryan Brooks. Want to check the invitation? The name NovaHealth landed like a bomb. A neurosurgeon from Mayo Clinic spun around. NovaHealth. The company that just IPO'd at a $2.8 billion valuation. Another female doctor whispered to her companion. Ava Harper, Forbes 30 under 30 last year. She's speaking at Davos next month. Chloe paled. Ryan looked at his wife, his eyes starting to waver. Finn piped up, his childish voice cutting through the tension. Grandma, why are you crying? I'm Finn Harper Cole. I have a wedding gift for Aunt Chloe. The boy held up a small silver-wrapped box, handwritten in marker to Aunt Chloe. Love, Finn. The lobby fell silent again. Only the fireplace crackled and the snow fell outside. Ryan stared at the gift. At Finn. At Ava. Then at Chloe, his eyes no longer filled with love but suspicion. Ethan placed a hand on his son's shoulder, his voice soft but firm. Finn, back to Mom. Ava bent down, took the gift from Finn and opened it in front of everyone. Inside was a white gold bracelet engraved. Family is what you make it. The life philosophy she'd taught her son since he could read. Linda Harper stepped back, clutching her chest. No. Impossible. Richard Harper advanced, face red. Out immediately. Today is Chloe's day. Ava smiled a smile with no warmth. I'm not here to ruin the wedding, I'm just a guest. She turned to Ryan, her voice soft but echoing through the lobby. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Brooks. NovaHealth is eager to collaborate with Johns Hopkins on the upcoming AI stroke diagnosis project. Ryan nodded mechanically, his eyes still glued to Chloe. Finn tugged at his mother's hand. Mom, I'm hungry. Is there cake? Ava laughed, the first genuine laugh of the night. Of course, sweetheart. Let's go. They walked away, leaving behind a whispering crowd, a pale bride and a Harper family trembling in the blizzard of truth. The crash of the champagne flute still echoed on the marble floor like a starting gun. Linda Harper stood motionless, her trembling hand still raised as if holding the glass. Only the crystal base remained glinting. Her eyes were wide, pupils dilating like a camera lens struggling to focus on a ghost. Ava, her voice cracked, shrill, piercing like metal scraping glass. You died 11 years ago. The words hung in the air, sucking out all sound. The violin in the orchestra went silent. A nearby guest stopped chewing his foie gras. Only the fireplace crackled and the snow fell outside the glass doors. Ava didn't move. Her white fur cape was damp where the snow had melted, water dripping onto the floor like unseen tears. Ethan Cole stepped forward half a step, his broad shoulders shielding his wife and son like a steel wall. His voice was low, pure Boston, not loud but clear enough for the 200 people in the lobby to hear every syllable. My wife is Ava Harper Cole, CEO and founder of NovaHealth. We were personally invited by Dr. Ryan Brooks. The invitation is in my inner pocket if you'd like to verify. The name NovaHealth exploded like a slow fuse grenade. NovaHealth, a neurosurgeon from Mayo Clinic spun around, his red wine glass trembling slightly. The company that just signed a $500 million contract with Mayo Clinic for AI post-surgical patient monitoring. Exactly, a female doctor beside him whispered, eyes gleaming. Their NovaPulse system cut readmission rates by 38% at Cleveland Clinic. I read the report last week. The whispers spread like wildfire on dry grass. Ava Harper. Forbes 30. Under 30 last year. She's speaking at Davos next month. I have VIP tickets. Her husband is Dr. Ethan Cole, chief of cardiac surgery at Mount Sinai. Ryan Brooks, the groom in a white tuxedo with a Honduran orchid boutonniere, stepped forward, his eyes darting between Ava and Chloe. Ava Harper, he repeated as if the name had been laser-etched into his brain. You mentioned a sister once. Chloe stood behind Ryan, her pristine white Vera Wang dress now like a shroud. Her face was ashen, her red lipstick stark. No. She stammered. She died. Overdose in Boston. We had a funeral. Linda Harper nodded frantically, tears glistening. Yes, we have photos of the funeral. Ava was an addict, stole Chloe's scholarship money for drugs. Finn Harper Cole, 7 years old in a slightly rumpled Armani suit, suddenly stepped out from his mother's embrace. He looked up, his blue eyes crystal clear, his childish voice ringing out in the deathly silence. "Grandma, why are you crying? I'm Finn Harper Cole." He raised his tiny hand, and limited edition Apple Watch Ultra on his wrist, a birthday gift from his mother. "I have a wedding gift for Aunt Chloe." Finn cheered, running forward, his polished leather shoes skidding slightly on the marble. He stopped in front of Chloe, holding out the silver-wrapped box with handwritten marker, "To Aunt Chloe, love, Finn." The lobby fell silent. Only the fireplace crackled. Ryan stared at the gift. At Finn. At Ava. Then at Chloe. For the first time his eyes held not love, but doubt. Ethan placed a hand on his son's shoulder, his voice soft but sharp. "Finn, back to Mom." Ava bent down, took the gift from Finn, and opened it in front of everyone. Inside was a white gold bracelet engraved, "Family is what you make it." Linda Harper stepped back, clutching her chest. "No. Impossible." Richard Harper advanced, face flushed. "Out immediately. Today is Chloe's day." Ava smiled, a smile with no warmth. "I'm not here to ruin the wedding. I'm just a guest." She turned to Ryan, her voice soft but carrying. "Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Brooks. NovaHealth is eager to collaborate with Johns Hopkins on the upcoming AI stroke diagnosis project." Ryan nodded mechanically, his eyes still on Chloe. Finn tugged at his mother's hand. "Mom, I'm hungry." "Is there cake?" Ava laughed, the first genuine laugh of the night. "Of course, sweetheart. Let's go." They walked away, leaving behind a whispering crowd, a pale bride, and a Harper family trembling in the blizzard of truth. Ava walked slowly through the glass corridor, her heels clicking steadily on the marble like a second heartbeat. Ethan to her right, Finn to her left. The whispers followed them like a snow cloud. The baccarat chandeliers glowed, thousands of crystals sparkling, turning the 5-carat diamond ring on Ava's left hand into a tiny star. She stood tall, shoulders back, chin slightly raised, the posture of someone used to TED stages, not the girl who once cowered in the corner of a family clinic in Portsmouth. But for one moment, a single blink, everything vanished. Flashback. 5 seconds. No words. Pouring Portsmouth rain, slick cobblestone streets. Ava 21, hair plastered to her face, hoodie soaked. Suitcase dragging with a rattle. The heavy wooden door of Harper family practice slamming shut in front of her. Her father's voice, Dr. Richard Harper, roaring from inside, "You stole Chloe's scholarship money, never come back." The door shook. Locked. Rain stung her eyes. Ava stood alone, suitcase beside her, nothing but $47 in her pocket. Present. 0.5 seconds later. Ava blinked. The chandeliers still sparkled. Finn tugged her hand. "Mom, why are you standing still?" Ethan gently squeezed her shoulder. He knew. He always knew. She took a deep breath, the scent of pine and red wine filling her lungs. 11 years. 4015 days. From a drenched girl in the rain to a woman standing in Colorado's most luxurious resort with a Harvard-trained cardiac surgeon husband and a son bearing the double-barreled name Harper Cole. "It's nothing, sweetheart," Ava whispered, bending to kiss Finn's hair. Mom just remembered something old. Ryan Brooks had left Chloe and was approaching them. His steps were slightly off, a sign of a man just punched in the face by truth. "Ava," he called, his voice hoarse from wine and shock. "We need to talk. Privately." Ava nodded slightly. Ethan understood, leading Finn to the dessert table. "Come on, young man. Mom has business with the groom." They moved to the glass corridor, snow falling thickly outside the windows. Ryan stopped, hands in his pockets, eyes on his polished leather shoes. Chloe said. Her sister died of an overdose. In Boston. 2014. He looked up. "But you're standing here. With a son. With NovaHealth." Ava didn't smile. She just looked at him, the gaze of someone who'd learned not to explain herself to anyone. "Chloe says a lot of things," she replied. "Most of them aren't true." Ryan swallowed hard. "She said you stole her Harvard scholarship, $250,000 from the MIT fund." Ava laughed, a short dry laugh. $250,000 was my full-ride MIT Sloan scholarship. My parents transferred it to Chloe's account right after I was kicked out of the house. I found out while standing in line to pay tuition. Ryan stepped back, his back hitting the cold glass. Jesus. There was no Jesus there, Ava said, her voice soft as falling snow. Just me alone in Boston. No home, no money, no family. She raised her hand, the diamond ring flashing. I waited tables in Cambridge. Cleaned tables at 5 a.m. Worked hospital night shifts. Typed for a call center at 2 a.m. Did nails for old ladies in Dorchester on weekends. I slept on a friend's couch for 6 months. Showered at the YMCA. Ate instant noodles for 3 months to buy a used laptop. Ryan stared at her, eyes red. Why didn't you say anything? Ava laughed softly, a dry hollow sound. Say to who? My family held a funeral for me while I was still alive. She raised her hand, the diamond ring gleaming. I met Ethan when he was an intern and I was a night shift hospital receptionist. We built NovaHealth from his garage in Somerville. Ryan looked out at the snowy mountains. NovaHealth, now valued at $2.8 billion, $2.9 billion after last week's funding round. Ava corrected, her voice even. But money doesn't matter. What matters is I'm not that girl kicked out in the rain anymore. Ryan looked out at the snow. Chloe. Never went to Harvard. Did she? Ava didn't answer. She didn't need to. The silence spoke for her. From a distance Chloe's voice rang out, shrill, panicked. Ryan, what are you doing with that bitch? Ava turned, the diamond ring flashing one last time under the chandeliers. She smiled, the smile of someone who'd won without fighting. Ask her, Ryan. Ask about Harvard. Ask about the clinic. Ask about everything. She walked away, back straight, white fur cape flowing lightly. Finn waved from the dessert table, cream on his mouth. Ethan stood beside him, eyes proud. 11 years ago, she left Portsmouth with a torn suitcase and $47. Today she returned to Aspen with a Bentley, a 5-carat ring and a truth sharper than any blade. Ava and Ethan had just returned to the main lobby, the music now shifted to a slow jazz cover of All I Want for Christmas Is You. Chloe Harper stood among a group of senior doctors, her pristine white Vera Wang dress like fresh snow, her Tiffany tiara sparkling under the chandeliers. She was laughing, that perfect laugh, teeth straight, lips curved at exactly 45 degrees, the kind Ava had practiced for hours in front of a mirror to copy. Ryan Brooks had his arm around his wife, his white tuxedo tailored to perfection, the Honduran orchid boutonniere striking. He proudly introduced everyone. This is Chloe Harper, my wife. Harvard Medical School class of 2017, managed Harper family practice in Portsmouth for the past 8 years. She's the brains behind our patient management system. A polite round of applause rippled through. A neurosurgeon from Johns Hopkins nodded. Harvard Med, impressive. I've heard of the Harper Family Clinic, 35 years serving the community. Chloe tilted her head, her golden hair shimmering under the lights, a familiar gesture. Thank you. We focus on geriatric care and AI-assisted diagnostics. My Harvard thesis was on AI applications in early stroke diagnosis. A tall man with silver hair and gold-rimmed glasses, Dr. Marcus Chen, MIT professor and AI healthcare expert, approached. He held a glass of red wine, his eyes sharp. Really, I'm Marcus Chen, MIT. Your thesis on AI in stroke diagnosis, I couldn't find it on PubMed. Can you share the DOI? I'd love to read it. Chloe froze. Her smile stretched, but her eyes didn't follow. Well, it's not widely published. It was an internal project. Dr. Chen frowned. Internal Harvard Med requires all doctoral theses to be public on ProQuest. I can search in 30 seconds. He pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. Ryan frowned, his hand tightening slightly on Chloe's shoulder. Honey, I'm sure. Chloe cut in, her voice an octave higher. Oh right. It's under Chloe M. Harper. You might have searched wrong. Dr. Chen finished typing, shook his head. Nothing. Not a single paper. Not even your name in the Harvard Med graduation records from 2015 to 2020. The group fell silent. A female doctor from Mayo Clinic whispered, I thought Harvard had public records. Ethan stood beside Ava sipping champagne, whispering just loud enough for her to hear. She never went to Harvard. Ava didn't respond. She just watched, her gaze cold like she was observing a tragic comedy. Chloe started stammering. No, it's probably a system error. I have my diploma at home. Dr. Chen, polite but sharp. You managed Harper family practice for 8 years. What EHR platform do you use, Epic or Cerner? Chloe opened her mouth, closed it. Her eyes darted, searching for rescue. Ryan looked at his wife, his gaze beginning to waver. From a distance, Linda Harper stormed over like a snow squall. Marcus, you're wrong. Our Chloe graduated summa cum laude. The proof is at the clinic, Dr. Chen smiled, but it wasn't friendly. I'll check. I have friends in Harvard admissions. Ryan let go of Chloe's shoulder. The first step. Ava sipped her champagne, the rich red wine tasting like blood. She remembered 11 years ago, Chloe waving a fake Harvard acceptance letter around the house. Ava was packing to start MIT Sloan with a full scholarship. Then the money vanished. Then the door slammed. Finn ran over, cream on his mouth. Mom, Aunt Chloe said she went to Harvard, but I saw you on TV saying you went to MIT. The group turned. Ryan looked at Ava. MIT Sloan. Ava nodded slightly. Class of 2018. Summa cum laude. Worked 4 jobs to pay tuition after my scholarship was redirected. Dr. Chen looked at Chloe, then Ava. NovaHealth. Ava Harper. You presented NovaPulse at the Boston AI Healthcare Conference last year. Ava smiled. Yes. The system reduced readmissions by 38% across 47 hospitals. Ryan stepped back. His eyes saw Chloe as a stranger. Chloe stammered. No. It's not. Linda Harper screamed, enough. Ava, get out. Today is your sister's wedding. But no one was listening to her anymore. Dr. Chen had opened his laptop, typing quickly. Found it. Ava Harper, MIT Sloan thesis, Predictive AI in Post-Surgical Complications 1200 citations. Chloe Harper. No results. Ryan looked at his wife. For the first time he said nothing. Ava set her champagne glass on the glass table. The crystal clink rang out like a verdict. Take your time, Dr. Brooks, she said, her voice soft as falling snow. The wedding's long. The truth is longer. The air in the main lobby of the lodge at Aspen Pines was thick as curdled milk. Dr. Marcus Chen still had his laptop open, the screen reflecting Chloe's face, ghostly pale, lips trembling. Ryan Brooks stood a step away from his wife, arms hanging limp, the Honduran orchid on his chest wilting. Finn Harper Cole, 7 years old, his Armani suit slightly rumpled from running around, suddenly yanked Ava's hand hard. The boy looked up, his blue eyes crystal clear, his childish voice ringing out in the stunned crowd. Mom, why did the bride say she went to Harvard? I saw pictures of you graduating from MIT Sloan. The words were a slow exploding bomb. Every eye turned to Finn, then to Ava. Ryan spun around, his white tuxedo collar stiff. MIT Sloan, he repeated, his voice hoarse from wine and shock. Ava Harper. Forbes 30. Under 30 last year, a female doctor from Cleveland Clinic whispered, yes, I was at her pitch in Davos. NovaHealth just raised a $750 million Series D. Linda Harper stormed over like a small blizzard, her navy gala dress billowing. She knelt before Finn, trying to smile, but her lips trembling. Finn, you're confused. Aunt Chloe went to Harvard. Finn shook his head hard, blonde hair flying. No. He pointed to the large wall screen showing a wedding slideshow. An old photo appeared, Ava at 25 inches, an MIT Sloan graduation gown, standing at the school gate holding a red diploma. I saw Mom on TV, Finn cheered, his voice innocent. Mom built NovaHealth from a garage. Grandma told me to watch Mom's TEDx Boston clip. The lobby fell silent again. Ryan stared at the screen. At Ava. At Chloe. Dr. Chen chuckled softly, typing quickly on his laptop. Found it. Ava Harper, MIT Sloan 2018 summa cum laude, thesis AI predictive modeling in post-surgical care 1400 citations. Chloe Harper, no academic record. Chloe stepped back, her Vera Wang heel sinking into the red carpet. No. It's not. Linda Harper screamed, enough. Finn, come with Grandma. Ava, you're ruining your sister's wedding. But Finn didn't listen. He ran to the dessert table, grabbing a healthcare journalist from Stat News. Sir, my mom is Ava Harper. Do you want to interview her? She has AI that saves people. The journalist opened his phone, eyes gleaming. Ava Harper, NovaHealth CEO. I was at her NASDAQ IPO. Ethan stood beside Ava, his hand lightly on her lower back. He whispered, our son just dropped a nuke. Ava smiled, the first real smile of the night. He just told the truth. Ryan approached, his voice hoarse. Ava. You built NovaHealth from a garage. Ava nodded slightly. From Ethan's garage in Somerville. 2016. No capital. No family. Just an idea and 3 months of instant noodles. Dr. Chen interjected. NovaHealth now has a Pentagon contract. Her AI saved 1200 wounded soldiers last year. Chloe broke into sobs. Tears smeared her mascara, streaking black down her cheeks. Ryan. You believe me? Ryan didn't look at his wife. He looked at Ava. Why didn't you say anything sooner? Ava shrugged. I didn't need to. Finn did. Finn ran back holding a red velvet cupcake cream on his mouth. Mom, did I say it right? You're the best. Ava bent down, kissing his forehead. You did, sweetheart. Linda Harper sank into a chair, hands covering her face. Richard Harper stood frozen, face red. Ryan looked at Chloe. For the first time he asked, "Did you really go to Harvard?" Chloe didn't answer. Only the snow falling outside and the truth finally breaking free. Ryan Brooks gently took Ava's elbow, his fingers trembling under his Italian leather gloves. The balcony. Just 5 minutes. His voice was hoarse, no longer the confident groom. Ava nodded, her white fur cape flowing as they stepped through the glass door. The balcony of the lodge at Aspen Pines hung precariously over the mountain, the wind cutting at -12 degrees Celsius. Snow fell thickly, large flakes like swan feathers, blanketing the pine railing. Warm yellow LED lights glowed, turning each snowflake into a floating diamond. In the distance, the Rocky Mountains loomed in the mist. Ryan closed the glass door, the click sounding like a coffin lid. He leaned against the railing, his breath forming white clouds. Ava stood 2 steps away, arms crossed, her 5-carat diamond ring sparkling under the lights. Chloe said her sister, dropped out, got addicted, died of an overdose in Boston. Ryan's voice cracked. She showed me funeral photos. A headstone engraved Ava Marie Harper 1993 to 2014. I cried. Ava didn't respond immediately. She looked out at the snowy mountains, her gaze cold as ice. Fake funeral. Ryan swallowed hard. She said you stole her $250,000 Harvard scholarship for heroin. Ava turned, her eyes sharp as a scalpel. $250,000. 000 was my full-ride MIT Sloan scholarship. Ryan stepped back, his back hitting the icy railing. MIT. Ava nodded. Class of 2018. Summa cum laude. I found out the money was gone while standing in line to pay tuition. My parents transferred it to Chloe's account right after I was kicked out. Ryan clutched his head. Jesus. There was no Jesus there, Ava cut in, her voice soft as falling snow. 11 years ago I was 21, kicked out in the pouring Portsmouth rain, dragging a suitcase on cobblestones. Dad slammed the door. You stole Chloe's scholarship money, never come back. She spoke evenly without emotion. I worked 4 jobs to study. Waited tables at 5 a.m. in Cambridge. Cleaned hospital rooms on night shifts. Typed for a call center at 2 a.m. Did nails for old ladies in Dorchester on weekends. I slept on a friend's couch for 6 months. Showered at the YMCA. Ate instant noodles for 3 months to buy a used laptop. Ryan stared at her, eyes red. Why didn't you say anything? Ava laughed softly, a dry hollow sound. Say to whom? My family held a funeral for me while I was still alive. She raised her hand, the diamond ring flashing. I met Ethan when he was an intern, and I was a night shift hospital receptionist. We built NovaHealth from his garage in Somerville. No capital. No family. Just an idea and 3 months of instant noodles. Ryan looked out at the snowy mountains. NovaHealth. Now valued at $2.9 billion, $2.95 billion after last week's funding round. Ava corrected. Pentagon contract. 47 hospitals. 1200 wounded soldiers saved last year. Ryan turned, his voice trembling. Chloe. Never went to Harvard. Ava didn't answer. She didn't need to. Ryan slammed his fist into the railing, snow scattering. She was a receptionist at the clinic. I checked HR records last week. Ava nodded slightly. I know. Ryan looked at her, his eyes shattered. I married the wrong person. Ava shrugged. You married the person the Harper family created. Not the real Chloe. Ryan covered his face. What do I do? Ava stepped closer, placing a hand on his shoulder the first time she touched the groom. Ask her. Ask about Harvard. Ask about the clinic. Ask about everything. She turned, her white fur cape flowing in the snowy wind. Ryan stood alone on the icy balcony. When Ava returned to the lobby, Ethan and Finn were waiting. Finn cheered, "Mom, I ate 3 red velvet cupcakes," Ava laughed, kissing his hair. Ethan squeezed his wife's hand. "Done done," Ava replied. "Now it's Chloe's turn." They entered the main lobby. Ryan followed 10 steps behind. He looked at Chloe standing in the crowd, her white Vera Wang dress pristine, but now like a shroud. Ryan approached, his voice hoarse. "Chloe. We need to talk. Now." Chloe turned. Her eyes widened. "Ryan. What are you doing?" Ryan looked at his wife for the first time like a stranger. The main lobby of the lodge at Aspen Pines pulsed like a theater stage. The long banquet table was draped in white silk, crystal candles, flickering white lilies mixed with fresh pine branches. Ryan had just returned from the balcony, face pale, snow still on his shoulders. Chloe stood in the crowd, her white Vera Wang dress like a corpse-eyes red. Richard Harper charged forward like an enraged bull. His Savile Row gray suit strained his Harper family practice, 35 years badge gleaming on his chest. He pointed straight at Ava, his voice booming like thunder. "Ava, leave now, today is close day." His voice echoed through the lobby, drowning out the violin. A guest dropped a champagne flute. Ava didn't move. She stood there, her white fur cape dripping melted snow, her 5-carat diamond ring flashing. Ethan Cole stepped forward, shoulders broad, his Harvard-polished Boston accent cold but sharp. NovaHealth was just selected by the Pentagon to provide AI for wounded soldier monitoring. "My wife Ava Harper Cole is the keynote speaker at Davos next month." The lobby fell silent. Then eruption. A tall man with close-cropped silver hair in a black suit with a General David M. Reynolds, U.S. Air Force badge approached. A VIP guest flown in from D.C. by private helicopter. General Reynolds raised a hand, his voice deep but carrying through the lobby. "Miss Harper," he stopped in front of Ava, his eyes respectful. "I need your signature on a $1.2 billion contract. Your NovaPulse systems saved 1200 wounded soldiers last year. The Pentagon wants nationwide deployment." He pulled out a thick leather-bound folder, Pentagon logo embossed. The lobby erupted in applause. The clapping was thunderous. Doctors, lawyers, CEOs, all stood. A female doctor from Mayo Clinic cheered. "I was at her demo in Cleveland, 38% reduction in readmissions." Richard Harper's face turned red, his suit collar seeming to tighten. "Enough? This is a wedding, not a healthcare conference," but no one listened to him anymore. General Reynolds placed the documents on the banquet table, opening to the final page. "Miss Harper, just a signature. The contract is effective immediately." Ava took a Mont Blanc pen, signing quickly, her handwriting sharp, unwavering. "Done." General Reynolds shook Ava's hand, then Ethan's. "Thank you, America owes you." Chloe stood there, her white Vera Wang dress now like a shroud. She rushed forward, her voice shrill. "Ryan, you can't let them do this." Ryan didn't look at his wife, he looked at Ava. "Ava, you built NovaHealth from a garage." Ava nodded. "From Ethan's garage in Somerville, 2016. No capital. No family." Linda Harper screamed, "Lies, Ava was an addict." "We have funeral photos." Ethan chuckled softly, pulling out his phone. "Fake funeral. I have the originals. Chloe photoshopped them in 2014. He projected onto the large screen a photo of Ava at 21, soaked in Portsmouth rain, dragging a suitcase. The lobby fell silent. Dr. Marcus Chen, MIT, stepped forward. "Ava Harper, your MIT thesis has 1400 citations. Chloe Harper, no academic record." Richard Harper roared out of you. But General Reynolds raised a hand. "I'm Ryan's guest. And I'm staying." Finn ran over, holding a red velvet cupcake, cream on his mouth. "Mom, I want a picture with the general." General Reynolds laughed, kneeling. "You're Finn Harper Cole, your mom's a hero to me." Ava bent down, kissing her son's hair. "Go with Dad, sweetheart." Ethan led Finn to the dessert table. Ava turned to Richard. "You want me to leave? Fine. But first." She raised her hand, the diamond ring flashing. 11 years ago, you transferred my $250,000 MIT scholarship to Chloe's account. I have the bank transfer receipt. Want to see?" Richard stepped back. Linda Harper sobbed. "She's lying." "Ava stole the money," Ava laughed. "I stole money when I worked 4 jobs to study, when I built NovaHealth from a garage." General Reynolds nodded. "Miss Harper, we need you in D.C. next week. Private jet." Ava nodded. "I'll be there." Chloe sank into a chair, mascara streaking. Ryan stood 5 steps away, not helping. Ava stepped closer, her voice soft as falling snow. Today is Chloe's day. I'm not ruining it. I just came. She turned her white fur cape flowing. Ethan and Finn were waiting. The lobby applauded again for Ava. Richard Harper stood alone in the thunderous clapping. Ava pushed open the women's restroom door on the main floor of the lodge. The heavy walnut door closed behind her with a click, cutting off the jazz music and applause from the lobby. Inside was pure, luxury white marble floors with gray veining gold-plated copper sinks, a large mirror framed with warm LED lights. The faint scent of Diptyque Figandrin lingered. Chloe Harper was already there. The bride sat on a velvet bench in front of the mirror, her white Vera Wang dress spread like a wilted flower. Her Tiffany tiara was crooked. Chloe was crying, mascara running in 2 black streaks down her cheeks, her red lips trembling. She looked in the mirror, then at Ava through it. "You were supposed to be dead." Chloe screamed, her voice breaking shrill like shattering glass. "Why are you still alive?" Ava didn't respond. She stepped to the sink, turned on the hot water. It rushed out, steam fogging the mirror. Ava lathered Aesop's soap, washing slowly, calmly. Chloe stood abruptly, her veil rustling. "You were supposed to disappear. You were supposed to be an addict dead in Boston. We had a funeral." Ava finished washing, pulled a linen hand towel, drying each finger. "Fake funeral." Chloe lunged, grabbing Ava's shoulders. "You can't ruin my wedding. Ryan is mine." Ava gently but firmly removed Chloe's hands. "Ryan isn't anyone's. He just married the wrong person." Chloe backed away, her back hitting the cold mirror. You're a monster." Ava looked straight into Chloe's eyes through the mirror. "I'm doing better than you think." Her voice was even emotionless. "And you? We're just a clinic receptionist." Chloe froze. Ava continued, her voice soft as falling snow. "You never went to Harvard. You never managed Harper Family Practice. You were a receptionist, $45,000 a year. Mom and Dad put you at the front desk so patients thought you were a doctor." Chloe trembled. "No, it's not." Ava stepped closer, standing over Chloe. 11 years ago, Mom and Dad transferred my $250,000 MIT scholarship to your account. I worked 4 jobs to study. You used that money to buy Louis Vuitton bags." Chloe collapsed onto the cold marble floor. Her white Vera Wang dress was streaked with mascara. I didn't know." Ava crouched, her voice ice. You knew from the start." Chloe hugged her face, sobbing. "What do you want?" "Money, I'll give it." Ava stood. "I don't need your money. I have $2.95 billion. Chloe looked up, eyes red. "Then, I'm sorry." "Okay." Ava looked down at Chloe. For the first time she saw fear in her sister's eyes. "Sorry isn't enough," Ava said. 11 years. 4015 days. I don't need an apology." She turned to the door. Chloe screamed, "Don't go. Ryan will leave me." Ava paused, hand on the handle. "Ryan already left you when he learned the truth." She opened the door, stepped out. Chloe collapsed fully onto the floor, mascara streaked her white Vera Wang dress, now like a shroud. The door closed. Chloe's sobs echoed in the luxurious restroom, but no one heard. Ava stepped out of the glass corridor, her white fur cape dripping melted snow, her heels clicking evenly on the marble. The main lobby was still buzzing. Applause for General Reynolds had just died down, whispers about the Pentagon contract spreading everywhere. Ethan and Finn stood near the fireplace, the boy holding his 4th red velvet cupcake, cream on his mouth. Ryan Brooks stood alone near the large window, staring at the snowy mountains. His white tuxedo was rumpled, the Honduran orchid drooping. He was no longer the groom, just a man losing everything. Ava approached. Ethan nodded slightly, he understood. Finn waved. "Mom, I want to go swimming." "Wait 2 minutes, sweetheart," Ava said, then stood before Ryan. She pulled a cream-colored envelope from her Hermes clutch, sealed with red NovaHealth wax. "A wedding gift," Ava said, handing it to Ryan. Ryan took it, hands trembling. He opened it. Inside was a certificate for 100,000 NovaHealth shares, serial numbers clear, signed Ava Harper Cole in blue ink. Market value $2.8 million. Ryan stared at the envelope, then Ava. What is it?" Ava replied, her voice soft as falling snow. "For your future. Nothing to do with the Harper family." Ryan trembled. The papers shook in his hands like leaves in the wind. "Ava. Ava cut him off. "You don't need to thank me. You invited me. I came. Now I'm giving you this, not for Chloe, not for my parents. Just for you. Ryan looked out the window. The snow was falling thicker. Chloe. She lied about everything. Ava nodded. I know. Ryan clutched the envelope. I'm calling off the wedding. Ava wasn't surprised. Your decision. Ryan looked at her, eyes red. I married a ghost. Ava placed a hand on his shoulder the second time that night. Now you know the truth. Use it to move forward. Ryan nodded, his voice hoarse. Thank you, really. Ava smiled, a soft smile, not triumphant. No problem. Good luck, Dr. Brooks. She turned. Ethan and Finn were waiting. Finn cheered. Mom. Are we done? I want to swim. Ava laughed, hugging her son. Done. Let's go. They walked to the main entrance. The Bentley Bentayga was waiting, the driver opening the door. Ryan stood there, the envelope in his pocket, watching the family of three disappear into the snow. Chloe burst from the corridor, her Vera Wang dress soaked with tears, mascara streaked. Ryan, where are you going? Ryan didn't turn back. He walked to the front desk, his voice low but firm. Call my lawyer, cancel the wedding, now. Chloe screamed, collapsing to the floor. But Ryan was gone. The NovaHealth envelope in his pocket, the only wedding gift left that night. Floor 72, 1 Vanderbilt, Manhattan. Floor-to-ceiling glass offered a 360-degree view, the Hudson glittering, the Empire State Building tiny in the distance, people like ants on 42nd Street. NovaHealth occupied the entire floor, Brazilian walnut floors, smart glass walls, the NovaHealth logo glowing in cobalt neon. Ava Harper Cole sat behind an Italian marble desk in a black Balenciaga blazer and Hermes silk tie. In front of her was an $800 million contract with Cleveland Clinic, 142 printed pages, signatures dried. Meredith, her personal assistant, knocked. Mrs. Cole, Dr. Ryan Brooks is in the waiting room. No appointment. Ava nodded. Send him in. Ryan entered, a far cry from the white tuxedoed groom 3 months ago, wrinkled gray suit, loose tie, eyes shadowed from sleepless nights. He placed a leather briefcase on the desk, opening it, FBI documents, 2 inches thick, red confidential cover. The FBI is investigating Harper family practice, Ryan said, his voice hoarse from lack of sleep. Medicare fraud, $1.8 million over 12 years. Ava wasn't surprised. She set down her Mont Blanc pen, leaning back in her chair. I know. Ryan pushed the file toward Ava. Chloe confessed everything. To reduce her sentence. Ava flipped through a few pages. Intentional upcoding, 99214 instead of 99213, tripling payments, ghost patients, 47 fake patients billed regularly. Kickbacks, the clinic took commissions from a phony pharmacy. Total damage $1.82 million. Ryan continued. Her parents were handcuffed last week. Chloe got 3 years probation plus 500 hours community service. She's living in their old house in Portsmouth. Ava sipped her coffee, Blue Mountain, $300 divided by ounce. She chose to tell the truth. Good. Ryan looked out the window. They asked me about you. About 11 years ago. About the scholarship. Ava set her cup down. And what did you say? The truth, Ryan replied. That Chloe never went to Harvard. That Ava Harper was kicked out. That NovaHealth was built from a garage. Ava nodded slightly. Thank you. Ryan pushed another envelope, the 10000 NovaHealth shares Ava gave him on the wedding night. I didn't sell. They're worth $3.1 million now. I'm saving them for the future. Ava smiled, the first smile of the meeting. Good. Ryan stood. The FBI wants you to testify. About the scholarship. About your time at the clinic. Ava shook her head. I don't need revenge. The truth speaks for itself. Ryan nodded, heading for the door. Before leaving he turned. Thank you, for the wedding gift. For everything. The door closed. Meredith knocked again. Email from the FBI lawyer requesting your old employment contract from Harper Family Practice. Ava opened her laptop, navigating to her personal cloud folder, 2012 to 2014. Employment contract, Ava Harper receptionist, $12 divided by hour. Pay stubs, final 3 months deducted for Chloe's scholarship. Bank transfer $250,000 from MIT fund Chloe Marie Harper's account. She scanned everything, attached it to an email, and wrote requested information. No testimony. No further contact. Ava Harper, Cole's CEO, NovaHealth sent. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ethan Finn made the Martha's Vineyard junior swim team. Come home early to celebrate. Dr. Ava smiled, shutting off her phone. She stood stepping onto the office balcony. The Manhattan wind whipped her hair. Below, the city pulsed, unaware, uncaring of Portsmouth, Harper family practice, or Chloe sweeping park grounds to atone. Ava texted Ethan, on my way. Order Alaskan king crab. She returned to her desk, signing the Cleveland Clinic contract. Outside, snow began to fall, light, silent, erasing all old traces. The lush green lawn of Martha's Vineyard stretched to the ocean. Salty Atlantic breezes carried the scent of seaweed, and late summer Sunday, the Harper Cole family's white and blue Cape Cod homes sat among lavender and beach grass windows, open silk curtains fluttering. Finn Harper Cole, 8 years old, ran barefoot across the grass holding a giant shark kite. Mom, look. It's higher than the pine tree. He laughed, his blonde hair wild in the wind. Ethan Cole stood by the outdoor BBQ in a gray t-shirt and kissed the surgeon apron, flipping a 2-inch ribeye steak. The smell of applewood smoke and garlic butter wafted. He looked up, grinning at his wife. Finn's about to pull the whole sky down. Ava sat on a teak bench, bare feet on the railing, in a white linen dress, hair loosely pinned. She held a glass of Sauvignon Blanc, eyes following the blue kite against the clear sky. 1 year. 365 days. No more Aspen snow, no more Chloe, no more Harper family practice. The TV inside blared through outdoor speakers. CNN Evening News. Harper family practice in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, permanently closed after 35 years. Former manager Chloe Harper received 3 years probation and 500 hours community service for $1.82 million in Medicare fraud. Her parents, Dr. Richard and Linda Harper, fined $1.2 million and permanently barred from practicing medicine. Finn ran over, hugging his mother's leg. Mom, is Aunt Chloe really in jail? Ava ruffled his hair. No, sweetheart. She's just doing community service. Finn nodded, running off to fly his kite again. Ethan brought a platter of steaks to the long wooden table. Dinner's ready. Alaskan king crab flown in this morning. The family of 3 sat, white linen tablecloth, lavender in a porcelain vase, candlelight flickering. Finn talked about swim practice, Ethan about a 12-hour heart surgery last week. Ava laughed, a real laugh, no shadows of 11 years. The mail carrier knocked. A craft envelope, handwritten in shaky script. Ava Harper Cole, Martha's Vineyard. Ava opened it. Sister Ava, it's Chloe. I've been sweeping park grounds in Portsmouth for 6 months. I'm applying for an internship at NovaHealth. Any position. Receptionist is fine. I want to learn. I want to start over. I'm sorry. Truly. Chloe. Ava finished reading, setting the letter down. Ethan looked at his wife, saying nothing. He knew. Ava stood, going to the small home office. The Epson printer whirred. 10 minutes later, she returned with a NovaHealth envelope and a thick stack of papers. She wrote by hand on the envelope, Chloe Marie Harper, Portsmouth, NH. Inside, rejection letter. We do not accept interns with a history of healthcare fraud. Scholarship announcement. Harper Second Chance Scholarship, $50,000 divided by year, 4 years for 15 low-income students without family support. Requirements: 3.5 plus GPA. Recommendation letters. Essay on second chance. Ava's handwritten note. The scholarship bears the Harper name. Not for you. For those like me, back then, eh? She sealed it, called the courier. Express delivery. Must arrive tomorrow. Finn ran over, hugging his mother. Mom. The sun's setting. Family photo time. The 3 stood on the grass, backs to the ocean. Ethan hugged Ava, Finn between them holding his lowered kite. The tripod camera click. The sunset burned red across the sea, gilding Ava's hair, Ethan's eyes, Finn's smile. Ava whispered only to herself, family isn't blood. It's the people who stay when the whole world walks away. The ocean breeze blew hard. The shark kite soared again, higher, higher into the free sky.